Hello and welcome to Lore of the Storms, the series that looks to find the lore hidden behind your favourite heroes of the storm. Figured we've been going a bit Ungoro crazy with Lore of the Cards of late, and thought a break may be a welcome change to all the channel's regulars. Today we'll be covering one of the most recent heroes added, and yep, it's another Overwatch hero, Genji. Centuries from the current year in the Overwatch universe, and around 60 years from our current year, the Shimada family of Japan was established. Starting as a clan of assassins, their power and influence grew, allowing the family to cultivate a vast criminal empire. The Shimada expanded their services too, not only performing assassinations but dealing in arms and illegal substances as well. Around 35 years from present-day Overwatch, the master of the Shimada clan, Sojiro Shimada, had two sons, Hanzo, the eldest, and Genji, the younger. Genji enjoyed his compulsory ninja training and excelled at it, but the youngest Shimada had next to no interest in his family's criminal empire, preferring instead to pursue a playboy lifestyle. This infuriated most of the Shimada, seeing the carefree Genji as a dangerous liability, but the master of the Shimada protected and coddled his youngest, while training Hanzo to succeed him. Upon the untimely death of Sojiro, Hanzo, bound by duty, succeeded his father. He was a more than adequate replacement, possessing a natural aptitude for leadership, deep understanding of strategy and tactics, and a prodigy of martial arts, swordplay, and bowmanship. Upon rising to the mantle of leader, Hanzo consulted with the elders of the Shimada, who instructed the young leader to straighten out his younger party-loving brother. When Hanzo demanded Genji take a more active role in the organisation, helping Hanzo rule the Shimada Empire, Genji refused, enraging both Hanzo and the elders. Tension built between the two brothers until Hanzo was forced into killing his younger brother. This act broke Hanzo's heart, leading him to reject all he had been raised to do, eventually leaving the Shimada clan. But Genji was not dead. As the ninja lay beaten, broken, and barely holding on to his mortality, he was rescued by Overwatch, the saviours of the Omnic crisis where man fought machine, and now the guardians of the entire planet. Overwatch offered to rebuild Genji's body in exchange for his aid in combating the Shimada clan, terms to which Genji agreed. His ravaged body was then passed on to Dr. Angela Ziegler, alias Mercy, to begin the extensive cyberization of Genji's body. This augmented Genji's already impressive skills as a ninja, enhancing his speed and agility, transforming him into a living weapon. Genji wielded shuriken capable of piercing light armor, which were replenished through his cyborg arm, had reflexes so quick he could reflect bullets, and his agility allowed him to climb walls and dash forward through the air, even while mid-jump. Genji focused fully upon dismantling the criminal empire he was once associated with. As time passed, Genji began to struggle accepting what he had become. With so much of him now mechanized, could he really even consider himself human? Despite Genji's doubts, he was able to topple the Shimada clan, likely as part of the Blackwatch branch of Overwatch. Blackwatch were kept secret from the public. Headed up by Gabriel Reyes, the man that would become Reaper, they carried out many covert operations that would become more sinister as time passed. Though it would seem Genji did not become embroiled in Blackwatch's shady dealings, though he equally could have, as his cybernetic body would have made him the perfect assassin. 7 years prior to present day, Genji helped train Lena Oxton, still coming to terms with her recently acquired time-jumping abilities. Tracer refined her combat skills, getting to grips with the chronal accelerator, which allowed her to control her time jumps by sparring with Genji. Impressed by the combat skills showed off against Genji, Jack Morrison deployed Tracer to help quell an Omnic uprising in King's Row, London, being carried out by the Null Sector. These Omnic terrorists gained much support throughout the UK for the country's harsh treatment of its Omnic population. Despite much of the modern day United Kingdom being built on the backs of Omnic labourers, they were denied citizenship and basic rights. Forced to undergo registration, scanned at Omnic transit checkpoints and treated as if under military occupation, escorted through the streets by armed soldiers. The Null Sector uprising in King's Row claimed hundreds of lives, thousands injured, and pushed the UK, if not the world, to the brink of open war. Jack Morrison acted without the consent of the UK government, dispatching Tracer, Reinhardt, Mercy and Tourbillon to put an end to the Null Sector's violent uprising. Overwatch would eventually be disbanded after Blackwatch was discovered by the world at large, but by this time, Genji had already left the organisation. Still unable to come to terms with the cyberization of his body, Genji wandered the world in search of meaning. This journey remained fruitless for many years, until Genji's path crossed with the Omnic monk, Zenyatta. The monk did his best to help Genji come to terms with the mechanical parts of his body, but initially his wisdom was rejected by the ninja. But Zenyatta would not be deterred, and would eventually become Genji's mentor. With Zenyatta's guidance, Genji learned to accept that while he may have the body of a cyborg, his human soul remained intact. Genji came to accept his new body as a gift and a unique strength. Content, Genji finally felt free of the doubts that had plagued him since being given his new body. Even he could not say where his path may lead. Upon the 10th anniversary of his supposed death, Genji's path would lead him back to Hanamura, Japan, where he would track his brother Hanzo as he infiltrated the Shimada mansion. Hanzo performed this action every year, unable to forgive himself for Genji's murder, taking time to honour his brother's memory. As Hanzo burned incense, he sensed Genji's presence, assuming him to be an assassin. Genji remarked that Hanzo was brave to come to the den of his enemies. Hanzo stated he had once lived in the mansion, firing an arrow at Genji while asking, "Did your masters not tell you who I was?" When Genji referred to him by name, Hanzo was visibly shocked, and the two did battle. The fight culminated in Hanzo using his ultimate technique, Dragon Strike. However, Genji, brandishing his blade, the Ryu Ichimonji, which only he wielded with no one else allowed to examine or repair it, he was able to steer Hanzo's shot back toward him. Hanzo fell to his knees, shocked, as only a Shimada could control the dragons. Drawing his traditional wakizashi, Genji held it to Hanzo's throat. "Do it then. Kill me," said the defeated brother. But Genji would not give Hanzo the death he desired, as he believed Hanzo still had a purpose in this life. At this point, Genji called Hanzo brother, removing his mask to reveal his eyes, which Hanzo instantly recognized. Genji told Hanzo that he had forgiven him, and now his older brother must forgive himself. Genji said that the world was changing once again, and Hanzo would need to pick a side. Frustrated, Hanzo aimed an arrow at Genji, calling him a fool for believing that real life was like the tales of hope their father had once told them. Genji rebutted that perhaps he was a fool for believing there was still hope for Hanzo. But he did believe, and that Hanzo should think on that. He then departed in a cloud of smoke. So, there you have it, the lore behind Genji. I really hope you enjoyed, and if you did, a like, a share or a subscribe would be hugely appreciated. If you enjoyed the art, I've done my best to credit the artist in the description below. To stay up to date on future Lore of the Storms and cards, follow 6Gamers on Twitter and Facebook. Until next time, I hope to see you in the Nexus.